Good afternoon, Scott. Thank you for joining us.
Good afternoon.
Perhaps if we just start with a quick introduction to LMAX and where you fit into the company.
Okay, so I'm head of operations at LMAX Exchange. We are the first fully authorized MTF trading FX in Europe. We list 60 currency pairs, some spot metals and some commodity futures, and we essentially provide professional clients and institutional clients DMA to wholesale liquidity.
Fantastic. Well, you've just come fresh off of a panel, which some might argue was rounding a little on the exchanges.
Yeah.
And perhaps it was meant to, in theory, be about the changing landscape and how it's transforming and the new things on the horizon for FX, but it didn't really go quite that direction.
No, it did seem like the exchanges were suddenly the bad guys in all this. The OTC market is under pressure at the moment from the regulators. LMAX Exchange, we're not here saying we think all OTC should go onto exchange. I mean, we're in a situation where the regulatory drivers are suggesting that we are a viable venue to trade what they consider, some of the OTC products they want to get on exchange. But my point in there was, we believe that it's the liquid products that work and the standardizable products that work. Listing NDFs on exchange, we're unsure if we have enough demand, both from liquidity providers as well as the buy side. We could list them, but I mean, we're not saying that we think NDF should be traded on exchange. What we're saying is we have the infrastructure, we have the technology, and guess what? We have the regulation as well.
So what exactly do you think were perhaps, if any, key positive points that came from that discussion?
Well, I mean, the positive, from our perspective, I guess there's a few more people that have heard of LMAX Exchange now. Exchange traded FX is not something that's spoken about, and we do, we trade spot FX on exchange, and that's a massive part of the OTC FX market, and that is a standardized product. It's obviously cleared down, settled via CLS, so it works. But what we're suggesting is, it works on exchange.
Absolutely. Now, one of the other things that's come up a lot is this proliferation of platforms. Mm-hmm. There are a huge number there's been massive discussion about multi-dealer, single dealer. Are we going to get to a point where there's too many? And do you think we'll see some level of consolidation of platforms and a simplification? We're the new kid on the block, so we're all for proliferation of platforms. Look, there has been a load of new platforms in recent times. It creates competition, and at no stage have I ever heard competition's bad for the end customer. But what it does do is it creates significant problems for the banks in terms of technology, costs having to connect to these multiple platforms, in terms of pricing on multiple platforms with you carrying the risk of being double hit. And on the other side of that is people complain that liquidity on all these platforms is not real. They discuss mirage liquidity or shadow liquidity, ghost liquidity, whatever you want to call it. So there's stresses there as well. So I think consolidation is almost inevitable. If you look at FXall and Reuters recently purchased FXall, so that may be a start. However, as far as I'm aware, they're going to be running separate liquidity pools. So the consolidation will come, but we don't think it's yet, but it will come. And I guess, the survivors in when the consolidation occurs will need to offer something different, something standout. And we at LMAX obviously absolutely think we offer something different to the ECNs out there. And I guess the other thing people need to consider is they might have to facilitate their clients, both regulated and non-regulated business. Absolutely. As you said, you yourselves are an MTF. And of course there are the OTFs, the SEFs, there's many other Fs out there. Yeah. Again, it seems like an area that the regulators are quite keen to consolidate and converge.
Well, I mean, I think the problem is at the moment they are diverged. We think there will be a convergence. I think there has to be a convergence sooner rather than later. The forces of regulatory arbitrage and the extraterritoriality or third country will force some, will force convergence. And I think even, and us as LMAX, as a regulated MTF, we feel the requirements on us are the most stringent. So we could apply to be a CEF tomorrow if we wanted. Not saying we will do, but the option's there if we wanted, because the requirements on MTFs are fairly stringent. And I think there is talk that the MTF scope is going to be broadened to include OTFs, and then they may not even have an OTF definition. So, we think we're pretty well placed in terms of both technically and regulatory-wise, and for in terms of other players coming into the game, the cost is significant. We worked with the FSA for over a year. We spent a significant amount of money, significant amount of time, both on the compliance side, surveillance side, and also on the technology side. The real-time market data, the storage of that data, and our matching engine. So, it's expensive. So I doubt there's going to be loads of MTFs popping up tomorrow, because it's not easy.
Well, thank you very much for taking the time to speak with us. We are unfortunately out of time, but hopefully we've been a little kinder on you in here than perhaps in the conference room just a couple of minutes ago.
All right, thank you very much.
Cheers.
Thanks, thank you.